Hey,
What?
did you get them?
I may have distracted him with the kiss and snuck them out of his jacket.
My mortal.
Let's go. What's Sam researching now?
I think he's just cataloging books right now. Now this, Sandra, this is just the kind of relaxation we needed after the day we've had.
Oh, Carly, we've got someone in the back seat again.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, it's you. Sorry. I didn't see you there. Don't mind the demon blade.
All right. Well, you know Dean's house rules and baby. Driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cakehole, and the ones in the back enjoy the ride, idling in the Impala. Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. I'm Sandra.
I'm Carly, and today we are having a super special post-con episode because our lovely Sandra, the lucky individual she is, got to go to Supernatural New Jersey. So she's here to give us all the goss that she's legally allowed to give. She'll fill you in more on that as we get going.
And I also have a special guest with me who attended the convention with me. And that would be my husband, Ted. Ted, would you like to say hi?
Hey-o. Hi.
Hey, Ted.
Yay,
We've mentioned
Ted.
Ted before. You guys know who
Yes.
Ted is. Ted is now
Hi,
panicking.
it's me.
So Ted's a little nervous, but we're gonna work through it and see how much we can get him to open up about the
I'm usually a very quiet person,
Mhm.
but I might be able to be coaxed into speaking a little bit more.
yeah. Well, why don't let's do something easy. How did you get into Supernatural?
Well, I would believe that you just suddenly got me start watching a show. Said the Supernatural show, it's kind of good. We'll see what you think. And after probably about 3 episodes that we watched, and you were like, "Do you like it?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I could get into this show." Like, good, because we're going to a convention.
Oh my God, did you spring it on him that soon?
Was it that soon? I can't
You
remember.
said something like that. I do
Okay.
remember being
It was
blindsided, but
was it October of 2019? It's so long ago. I think it
You're
was October of
asking the wrong
2019.
person.
Yeah. Well, it was before COVID. That was obvious because we had,
Yes.
and I know it was right around the time I think that season
Before
15
COVID?
was getting
There
ready to
was an
start.
existence
There was a
before
time
COVID?
before COVID. Yes.
Oh my.
Yes, there
No,
was.
there wasn't. No, there wasn't. This
But
is all it is now. This is life.
That's what happened is that I remember us trying to start it once before. And I
Mhm.
think we got through 2 episodes and then we're like, not sure. And then I started watching it again on my own without you. And then that's when I was like, you should probably give Supernatural a try again. And then it was like, oh, and by the way, I hope you like it enough that we're going to go to a convention. And that was the one that was, I think it was Nashville. And that was in April of 2020. And then of course we know what happened with all of that.
Yeah, the COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's the kind of thing I would do to my husband. I would make him watch 2-3 episodes of a show and be like, so what do you think? Cool, because we're doing this.
so see,
And he would probably just be like, why are you like this? Just, why are you like this? He's good people, but he's effing over me in Supernatural now for real. I think the episode that shouldn't be named did it for him when I wandered around the house for 2 hours crying, and he was just like, I don't even know what to do with you right now. Just can you please just stop? And I was like, it wasn't supposed to be like this. Just, for 2 hours, I was depressed for days, but I cried for 2 hours, and he was just like, what? So yeah, if we ever get a con in the UK that J2 come to, I'm going to blindside him and we'll come back.
So yeah, we should probably talk about the fact that the first convention we went to was back in November, right? 2021.
Yep.
And that was in Charlotte.
Yep.
Just a little drive.
Just a little drive. Yeah, it was what, 8 hours?
Maybe.
Yeah, 8 hours.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
But
My resident Brit chiming in here. 8 hours would get you I live pretty much in the middle of the country, and 8 hours would get you pretty close to either end of the country. And that's like through Scotland. That like 8 hours would get you not too far away from the sort of top end of Scotland, and it would get you like, it'd certainly get you down to like the bottom coast of the UK. But if you wanted to go down to like the very bottom in Cornwall, you'd probably need about like 9 or 10 hours. But still, I can get to either end of my country in 8 hours. And you were like, yeah, no, we're just gonna go for a drive. Yeah, this is fine. Y'all, people are insane.
So Carly, what kind of questions did you have like about the convention and stuff? Or did you want Ted to give like a little overview on some things that he experienced?
For this one in New Jersey, or for the
New Jersey? I think we'll do New Jersey because New Jersey was the one
fresh in the mind right now.
Yeah, it's fresh in the mind.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. It's just because you'd started with Charlotte, and I was like,
yeah,
you can go back that far if you want, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I just remember the photos.
Yeah, it was definitely different comparative wise. So I think that's like the experience was a lot different.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that there wasn't plexiglass. By this point, I mean, even though we were still having to wear masks and stuff, there was a lot more interaction with the talent and the actors and everything.
I actually got a chance to speak a few words, and Jensen put his hand on you, and you didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I know. I've told Carly that. Yes,
we've seen the picture. It's cute though. It's cute. You're cute. I like the one of you guys and Brianna and Kim, and I like the one of you guys with Jensen and Misha as well. You guys are cute.
If you notice, I think COVID has affected me a bit because I was afraid to, like, we were told, don't touch them. They can choose to touch you, like to put their hand around you, but don't reach out and grab them, don't hug them, and get in there. And I'm basically shrinking down to be as small as I can be in that photo. If you look, like my shoulders are kind of pinched together. I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble because I'm afraid somebody's gonna jump out and scream at me for touching them.
You're like, no, stop it, hands off the celebrity. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
I didn't want to ruffle any feathers.
I suppose I'd be interested to hear it from your perspective, Ted, because obviously Sandra's like the crazy supernatural fan. She's in the group chats with us. She's doing the stuff online. Like we know what she was going to the convention for. So what was it like for you, who's like a fan of supernatural, but maybe not in the fandom so much? What were you looking forward to? What were you excited about doing? Was it weird to see so many people in flannel? And are you sick of hearing Kansas now?
Well, seeing all that flannel did kind of bring me back to when I was in high school, when that was the craze. Everybody was wearing flannel back then, but for a different reason. And it was something I probably would never have done. I'm very glad that Sandra brought me into this world. It's exciting. It's I don't even know how to explain it to somebody else. It's like going into the supernatural convention and just like how everybody that you've never met before in your life is like your best friend. Like I have multiple sclerosis, and I've never met another person in the wild. I call it in the wild because there was no reason for me to run into another person with MS. And I actually meet somebody there, and I'm telling her, no, I can't hug, and I'm immunocompromised, and I told her I have MS, and her eyes kind of got big, and she's like, I can't even remember what all was said. They just caught me so off guard.
She said, I have MS.
Yeah, and I was like, first thing I was gonna say, you're lying. Why would you say that to me?
Yeah, you're that desperate for hugs. Stop this. Go away.
Well, people tend to think that MS isn't real when I've told people at work that I have MS, and a few people have accused me of it's not a big deal. You don't have MS. It's like, why do you have a handicap placard on your car? You don't have MS. You're healthy. And so now I've kind of got my guard up. If somebody says, oh, yeah, I've got MS, like, no, don't mess with me. But she did, and she immediately told me the medication that she's on. I told her the medication I'm on. We bonded.
But what's so funny is that he had talked to this woman the day before, and then we happened to pass by, and I hadn't met her yet. And then it was with three of us talking that then it was like we were getting ready to try to like, get some contact information or whatever. And I was trying to find her on Facebook. And then she had to get ready to go. And she said, can I give you a hug? And he's like, I'm immunocompromised. So all the stuff you were talking about, the one thing that didn't get mentioned was like, the fact that you guys had MS.
Well, I don't advertise it.
Yeah. But then it came up and it was, you felt a little bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was nice.
So it was like,
that's really nice.
Yeah. And it happened at it happened at a supernatural convention. So it already was a very welcoming environment, and to meet somebody else that is kind of suffering the same kind of stuff I'm suffering with, was just, made it more personable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's really nice. Sort of hearing you guys describe it, it reminds me of it's not sort of the same, but when I was younger, before I had my kids, I would be off seeing bands every week, and every week it's a new best friend. You get talking to people that are in line, because usually are there like hours before the event. So you're talking to people in line and you're just like chatting about the band and like lives and things like that. You exchange contact information, and like just for that little bit of time, it's like a new best friend. And sometimes you stay in touch and sometimes you don't, but it's really a really friendly environment, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting from you guys about the cons, which is nice, because I wasn't like, J2 are never going to come over here, and I love the rest of the actors, but I'm not paying that kind of money. Oh, come on.
Positively.
They won't.
I'll put in a good word for you next time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Jared and Jensen, who are definitely listening to this, could you please come to the UK so this one mother from Yorkshire can see you, please? But if they did, I would definitely go. Like, I don't want to.
I'd hope
diss
so.
on the other actors, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the good things about the convention too, at least like I think for Ted, is that he does like a lot of the other actors, and maybe doesn't, I think in terms of if he doesn't follow Supernatural as much, and doesn't follow a lot of what's going on with the other actors, like usually he'll hear it from me. So then he gets to actually like listen to a panel, and he gets some new insight on an actor that maybe, he thought that person would be a certain way, and then gets newfound appreciation for that person.
Crowley,
Mark Shepard.
Mm-hmm. I heard the rumors about, there being issues why he ended up leaving the show, being killed off. And, I watched the way it seemed like the writers had kind of written him from being this imposing, very smart, sneaky kind of guy, to this kind of whimpering, joke. And next thing you know, he's gone. And I wasn't expecting him. Like, first off, he wasn't even supposed to come to this convention. And it was a surprise that he came, and to hear the way he talked so positively about the show, about all the cast. I noticed he didn't talk about the writers.
Yeah.
But he talked had wonderful things to say. And really, I think of all the people that talked up there, he came across as being the most human and, down to earth, and, somebody I could, meet at a bar and just hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's a good, this is the kind of experience we want to hear about, I don't want to hear about actors being dicks. I want to be like, tell me about when they were nice to you. Tell me about that. That's nice. I'm glad, because we saw, Sandra, did you watch the Mark virtual panel, or did I just
No, I did.
watch.
I watched half of it, and I kind of got the same thing. Like, he just wasn't interested. But then I'm wondering too if it was because it was virtual. I think some people experience, like, it depends on the situation and the environment. And I feel like when he was around so many people, he was very interactive. I mean, he was loving on the kids that were all over the place.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful to watch him do that.
So much stuff that he was doing. And he was, again, like, he was giving, the the quips, and he was talking, talking back to people and stuff, but in a way that was, he's like, this is just my way or whatever. And then he'd like turn it back around and he'd be very receptive and listening, and really said some meaningful things. So yeah, I think it depends on the time and place for certain people. I don't think people can be on or present the same way every time.
Well, the way he approached the audience, he literally just left the stage and walked right down the aisle all the way to the very back and was just saying hello to people. And now you can't even see him because he's so far in the back of the auditorium. And you suddenly hear him like, "Oh, cool. Oh, you're so cute." And he's like, you cooing to a little baby. And
that's cute.
I think he found about 3 little kids.
He found all the kids, I think, in that room. Yeah. And so looking at it, I think he did. I mean, that was sort of his shtick, like he would do that. He would go out into the audience, I think, before when he did the conventions. And I feel like Ruth imitated his style because that's what she does. She goes right into the audience. And I think this was the first time she did it too, because she didn't do it back in Charlotte, because again, they were, still very worried about COVID and everything. So they didn't really go into the audience.
I'm going to say that there's I want to say that it was the kids were staged, because while he's answering a question to the audience and he says something, and just at the right time, a baby goes, "Wah!" And he's just like, "I know exactly,"
You can't get kids to do that.
Wow. If a mom just gave the baby a little pinch on the arm.
You can, yeah. You just give them a little nudge. Not that we're advocating for that kind of thing at all, but like it's possible. You can just nudge them. Just nudge him. Oh, that's cute. I reckon JT would probably do that, but they have Cliff backstage going, "Fucking sit down. Stay on the stage."
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
Cliff.
move.
I got his autograph.
Yeah, you got it in Charlotte, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sandra told me. Yeah. But
only
no,
because Sandra nudged me and told me that's the guy from that episode, and I was like, should I get his autograph? Well, I don't know. He's a bodyguard now. I was like, so I got the attention of the woman that was, keeping everybody in line organized, and asked her if I could have his autograph. And she's like, "Oh, he loves to give autographs." And she runs over and she says something to him.
Oh,
get an autograph.
So nice.
That's so nice. Ted's my go-to. Ted's my go-to, babe. Can you go see if we can get that?
I'm the gopher.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute. But no, I could just imagine like him standing in front of J2 before they go on stage, like, "Fucking sit down. Don't move. Stay right there.
Well,
no, you're not getting off the stage. Stop it. Sit down. I will beat you. Sit."
And I know if I had tried to put my arm around any of those actors for the photo shoot, he would have popped out of nowhere. I wouldn't have seen him there, but all of a sudden he's right there, grabbed me by the collar and dragging me out.
No, you stop that. Yeah, he's a scary dude.
So what do you want to talk about what happened?
About
Yes.
Are we talking about
you could
the
talk
hotel,
about
or are we talking about the convention?
Do you want to talk about Jim Beaver? Do you want to talk about what you had to do with Mr. Beaver?
Oh, okay. So as far as the photo shoots go, you have pretty much no time to actually communicate what you want to do with these actors. And Sandra had a hat that was his
Singer Salvage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. And I originally wanted to see if I get his autograph when we do autographs later. And then I thought, you know what? I need a prop for this photo, because everybody is just doing this very static stand together, maybe an arm around the shoulder, looking at the camera. And I kind of like to change it up a little bit. So I decided, well, how about this? He's trying to keep his hat away from me, and that's my hat. I want that hat. So I got to communicate to him to keep the hat away from me while I try to grab it. And when we're going through this line to get to see him, we're passing by about 4 different checkpoints.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I've got the hat in my hand, and I was like, okay, I want to know. I know I'm not supposed to interact with them, but can I get him to take this hat? I'm like, they will not be allowed to put your hat on. I'm like, no, brand new hat. Flip it over. You can see the cardboard is still in it. I want him just to hold it while I try to. Well, no, I can't tell you yes or no on that. You'll have to ask somebody else. and everybody down the line would basically stop me in mid-sentence and say, no, you can't wear your hat, until finally got to him, and I just like, keep this hat away from me. And he gave me the idiot look too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
It happened so fast though. I just remember basically jamming the hat at him in his face almost, and be like, keep me from grabbing this hat. And he'd be like, oh, okay. He takes the hat.
Did you say hi, or did you just say keep
I
me
think
from
I think I said hi. I know I said thank you afterwards.
Okay, good.
No, I had to cut out the high part because we didn't have that much time to have some small talk like that.
Gotcha.
Wow. Really speedy then. You don't get a minute.
No.
Oh no, you get seconds if you're lucky. When they're going through really quickly.
Yeah, because you got tons of people coming and going so fast. They don't have time to, even though some of the photos look like they spent a lot of time with the person, they really didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a meet and greet is better for somebody that has time to actually take in the event. My memory, I need a photo to remember things. I don't have a great memory anymore. So I got a photo of Jim Beaver trying to keep that hat out of my hand.
That was a really good photo too.
It was because we see a lot of the ladies that go to these conventions, and they post their photos on Twitter and things like that, and they're all like sappy, lovey ones, and I'm like, you realize these people are married, right? First of all, cringe. But secondly, like, it gets boring. Photos like yours are the ones I want to see, where I'm like, oh my god, they did something funny. That's great. I love it. Just no more sappy staring into each other's eyes, holding hands pictures, please.
Yeah, that's the one that, I mean.
Well, I did like when Mark put his embrace around us. Crowley stood between us, but then put his arms around both our shoulders and like kind of gave us a hug. That was
nice.
Cool. No, we're talking about totally different. We're talking about look into my eyes like you want me kind of situation.
Like the Castiel and Dean look.
Yeah. That kind of thing. But that there's like a ton of that.
Well, who was it that called out, said that Castiel knows something's going on in that photo?
Oh yeah, I had posted. I think I mentioned this. I can't remember, Carly. I'd posted the pictures in the Facebook group for the New Jersey convention because everybody was posting their ops. So I put the one up of Jensen and Misha and Ted and I, and somebody had made a comment of like, Misha looks like he knows something that the two of you have got going on that your husband and Jensen don't. And I was like, oh, okay. And I looked at it again. I was like, all right, don't know. But it was an interesting look. Yeah.
I'm just going to pull that photo up now because I don't see that. I don't see that. Why did you post it? It's in the group chat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, these people will grasp at anything. He's looking at the fucking camera. People, please. They're both looking at the camera, and you guys are looking at the camera, and nobody's side-eyeing anyone.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? I swear to God. And I don't want to, like, I'm not going to be awful or like homophobic or anything. But Jensen is doing the no homo man pose with you, Ted, where he's like, we'll touch your shoulder and we're going to keep our hips 1,000 fucking miles apart so nobody can say a goddamn thing. Okay?
Yeah,
no
Ted
homo,
noticed
bro.
that.
I did notice that.
Yeah, like he's just like leaning into you with like his shoulder while keeping his waist far away.
Absolutely.
Like, it's fine, but like
maybe Misha is seeing something there. He's like, yeah, Jensen doesn't want to get too close to Ted because Ted might catch on that something's going on right past you over you.
Oh gosh, no. But it was
God. These people, I swear.
Yeah, they will. They'll fight anything. But then the Jim Beaver, the autograph, there was a whole thing. Because again, this was around the time when I had done my own meet and greet. And Ted had to go off on his own. I said, Ted, you're on your own now, buddy. You got to figure out the Jim Beaver photo and the autograph. I said, can you do it? He's like, I'll try. I had to write him out a schedule based off of the schedule. I had to literally write it all out, like just the important things that he needed to know about in times. He's like, because I don't know if you've ever seen the schedule on the convention site, but it's like a spreadsheet nightmare. Like if you think my stuff is
like there's no chance of being able to see everything because timelines overlap all over the place.
Yeah. So he was like, just write it out for me, honey, please. Cause I'm not going to know what I need to do. So I had to do that.
Speaking of overlaps, when I can't remember who was on stage when they finished up, and then Chuck came out and said, okay, well, it's gonna be a short break, so just be back here for Ruth's panel. And everybody cleared out, and then he comes right back on and said, okay, update, I was wrong, she's actually coming out now. So about 40%, maybe 50% of the people had already left the auditorium to do other things, and Ruth comes out, and she's all playing like she's all upset, and you cleared everybody out before I came out. And next thing you know, she's on the mic, she's got her microphone, she walks into the audience, out the door into the convention area, and is screaming at people to but she was saying it in her Rowena voice.
Yep.
That was very entertaining.
Yeah, I was afraid to leave her panel because we had to actually, when we got called for the Mark Shepard photo op, it was during her panel, and I was like, how are we going to get out of here without getting yelled at? But luckily it was fine. We were able to duck out, and then we came right back after we did it. It was really quick. I don't even think we were gone 5 minutes.
Well, I wanted us to get in and as close to the front of that line for our number list, the number call for our ticket, because I didn't want to be stuck waiting there and hearing her start talking in the auditorium.
Yeah. So, Carly, the way it happens, and it only happens for certain actors, like if it's Jensen or Jared or Misha, and in this case it was Mark, what they'll do is on the screens in the convention, I think you've seen this, they'll have little notifications as to numbers, whatever to whatever, they're doing the photo ops and stuff. So they don't do it for everybody. You kind of just have to know what's going on for a lot of other people. I will say that we did not appreciate the venue. The
not
hotel
at all.
Hotel wasn't. There were so many things awful about the hotel, but the way the vendors area was very, very cramped, very tight, and then the photo op room was on the opposite side of the ballroom entrances on one side. The photo ops were happening on the other side, and in between was all the vendor stuff.
Yeah,
and the line, the first time we tried to do the line on, I think it was Friday, was Brianna and Kim. And it was just a shit show. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know where we needed to go. We had to go all the way to the back.
And there was no sign. There were no signs instructing you on where to go for different.
No, there was tape at the bottom, right? Afterwards,
the tape was
stuff.
for a line that you don't know what that line is for, though. Is get in this line. What is the line for?
So Ted's like, excuse me, are you in line for this? Excuse me, are you in line for that? So the first time we did it, once we did it, it was, I think we got our bearings, and then, but I don't know how it was for you with Ruth and Jim Beaver, because I wasn't there for those.
It was fine.
It was fine for those. Okay, so I think once they figured
Ruth actually walked me into the photo area.
She?
Yeah, because everybody else had gone through, and she saw that there was one person that hadn't come in for the photo, so she actually came and got me. I was still in my seat.
That was so sweet.
No,
oh my god, that's
no, that
did not happen. No, I got in line with everybody else.
What about what? Talk about Ruth, the photo op with Ruth, because again, I let you have that. I let you have that just for you. I didn't want to get in the middle of that.
Well, again, I've still got it in my head that I'm not supposed to touch anybody, and so I went in there and I made eye contact with her. I said hello, and it's like, I know we don't have time to talk, so I was like hello, and I looked right at the camera, and we did a little, almost a back-to-back type of pose, and I thanked her very much, and I went about my way. And later, I saw the picture. I'm like, oh my god, I think she's leaning up against me. It's like, you didn't notice Jensen was still touching your shoulder. I didn't notice that Ruth had been bumping into me.
Look at that. Bumping into you, not just leaning,
sweet.
bumping.
Yeah.
Bumping into you. I love it.
Yeah. So, but there was a lot, I think, of stop and starts and figuring stuff out. And
then I think because Padalecki had to cancel, Jensen had decided to do a concert, and I guess there must have still been tickets left to sell, because the word got out that he was playing, and people just came. All of a sudden, there's 3 different lines. We came downstairs from our room to
Oh, maybe we should try to explain the way the setup is. So there's a couple different levels that they used for the convention. So you've got the main lobby, and then going up a flight of steps is where they did like registration check-in, COVID testing, and all of that stuff. And then above that was where they had the vendors and the photo ops, and the ballroom was on the next level up. So when they were getting ready to do the concert, and we had realized this from the night before when we did the screening for the episode Swan Song, they wouldn't let you
just hang out.
If you got off the elevator on the floor with the vendor's table and the ballroom, they sent you down to the next level to line up. And then you would go up the escalator when it was time to do that. So,
I see.
So the Swan Song screening, that wasn't too bad. Like the line wasn't that bad at all. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just go down like, I think we started like 15 or 20 minutes before they were supposed to open the doors.
And we have seat assignments. So it's not like we have to absolutely be the first in the door to get a good seat.
It wasn't like the general admission where the tickets and by the way, Creation advertised and posted that Jensen was going to sing, and that said tickets were still available. So that's why it turned into the way it turned into.
And when we first got on the level where they told us that we can't go in at the area where the convention is at, or where the
ballroom and stuff,
where that's at, we had to go down to the lower level and get into line. And we started walking towards the end of the line, and we kept walking, and now we're kind of walking through a windowed hallway, like an outdoor type looking setup. And we end up having to walk all the way to a parking garage / office that has the door chained shut, so the line can't go any farther. So it has to make a U-turn and start coming right back. And that's about where we end up having to wait. So we are probably, about 300 people back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we get in line, and we're seeing still tons of people coming towards us and stacking up, waiting in line to come all the way to the end of the hallway to turn around and go back into the hotel. Well, while the line finally started to move, and I looked out the window and I could see out into the courtyard, and then I could see into the other side of the hotel, I see hundreds of people like at the bottom level signing in, going up steps, and then the other side of the hotel on the same level as us has just mad numbers of people. Just all I could see is bodies, and couldn't make out any details of what's going on. So we stick with going with our line. Our line gets all the way up to the point where they're about to let us onto an escalator to go to the next floor, and they stop us. Actually, there was one group of people just in front of us when they stopped us and said, "Look, we got to let these other people go too." Didn't realize that line was the kind of will call lines. I mean, the people that had come and bought tickets on the spot, when they buy tickets downstairs and they come up the steps,
and then they had to get COVID tested. They had to show that they were, they had to do that
so
too.
When they come up the steps to the floor we're on, they have to walk and like break through our line to now walk somewhere. They don't know where they're going.
It was such a
so
mess.
They had to turn to the right and go to the COVID check-in point to get their little purple wristband to say they're good to go. Then they had to go to registration, which means
no, not registration. Then I think at that point they were good, and then they had to go get in line. I think after that, yeah.
So their line is now going up that escalator, and we paid for we have our badges and stuff, and we're sitting there watching all these people that just came in, just being able to go up that escalator. I'm like, I really hope that they didn't make this kind of a free for all, everybody gets to go anywhere they want type scenario, because I don't know how they were going to fit that many people in there. I was thinking that when they cleared people out before the concert, they took all the seats out and we're going to go up there and be a standing room only type of thing. But thank God that wasn't the case.
People would have been pissed because it's not.
I was getting there.
Yeah, I would have. I've been to literally music festivals that are better organized than that debacle you've just explained.
Oh, it was. They were not good with it at all. And then we went, and then going up the escalator. Tell me about that.
Oh, so yeah. So once we finally get on the escalator and we're finally heading up, there's another line up top. The line is at the escalator. So we're still moving towards these people on the escalator, like towards the people that are waiting at the end of their line. when you got tons of people just coming up this escalator, they can't stop. So we get to the top. I'm like, honey, just keep moving. Just keep moving. This is not going to be good.
Ted's like, I think you were started directing. Like, you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. You got to clear it. You got to clear it. People are coming by.
Well, because they didn't know that once they get off the escalator, okay, now we're on the floor we wanted to be on. We're about to go into the.
Yeah, Ted was like, wrap it around, keep moving.
My God.
It was
Creation hired some British people to be like, y'all don't know how to queue, so let's give them an opportunity to queue for a significant length of time and maybe it'll sink in. Good Lord.
Everybody
at
was
one point
like,
in time,
oh my gosh.
Once we had managed to maybe navigate, I don't know, what about 20 yards away from the escalator, then I start hearing the Creation people hollering and screaming down to the bottom of the escalator, stop, don't let anybody else on, stop. That could have turned bad real quick.
Yeah, I was almost getting panicky going, oh my God, I hope we don't all topple and people start getting hurt or something really bad happens. Because
I had just actually, before we got on the escalator, I was telling Sandra that I think they're putting too many people on the escalator, because I actually remember years back going to a baseball game and they let way too many people on this escalator that goes, I mean, it was like about a 4-story long escalator.
Oh no.
And they weren't limiting the number of people, and it overloaded it and it broke, and it just started slowly moving backwards, and it kept building up faster and faster and faster until it was like a running speed going backwards.
No.
And people at the bottom, just once you get to the very bottom, you go from a running speed to a dead stop, and you're piling on top of people. And thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. But I was thinking something like that could easily have happened in there.
Yeah.
But not to that extent, but still.
Yeah.
No.
How was the concert itself, though?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It's okay. Son of a bitch.
I have to be the first to hold my hands up and say I am not a fan of Loudon Swain, and I'm not a fan of Rob's voice, which might get me thrown out of the fandom. I don't think he has a bad voice. It's just distinctive in a way that I don't enjoy.
I kind of agree, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah. It's like, it's fine. Like, my guy can sing. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't appeal to me. Like, I'd listen, like, if we took away Jensen, because he can do everything, I'd rather listen to like Jason Manns or Rich Spate sing over Rob.
Jason Manns is just the tall guy that would sing Hallelujah with Rob Benedict. Yeah. And I don't even like Jason that much. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, if you could listen to one person for the rest of your life and it's Jason Manns or Rob Benedict, I'd be like, Jason Manns every day, all day, Jesus Christ, pipe that shit in 24/7. So as much as I like the idea of a Saturday night special with Jensen, I just know that I'd have to sit through a lot of Rob, and I don't know that I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, so I'm not he doesn't really impress me with his band. I mean, he's got talent, but it just doesn't really do it for me either.
So who else was singing? Kim sang. Jody.
Mm-hmm.
Who else sang?
I'm terrible with names.
Donna.
Yeah, Donna sang. Kim sang.
Oh yeah, Brianna sung. Yeah, we all saw Brianna. Fucking love that woman. I swear to God.
She's so pretty. Like, in reality, like, sitting like standing next to her for the picture and really looking at her, I was like, I mean, you can already tell she's pretty, but it's like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Like in real life, she's so pretty. Very pretty.
Yeah, no, I can tell that from photos. I'm like, oh, cow.
Honestly, I don't really have a lot of memories of the actual photos until I look at them. It happens so quickly. I honestly don't remember anything about actually going in to get that photo taken, because I was so busy trying to get my mask off in time to make this dash up to get the photo.
Yeah.
And then quickly having to dash off and quickly try to find a way to get my mask back on before I go back into that crowd. I'm surprised I even managed to look at the camera.
Yeah.
Honestly, that sounds like super stressful, though. I don't know.
Yes.
It is.
You're not selling me on the con experience here, guys. Yeah, no, it's really rushed. It's really stressful. And there's really long queues, and you get like 4 seconds with everybody. And the hotel was awful, and this was bad, and that was bad. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'd definitely spend money on this.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Carly. We now the whole experience. Now we just what is it about me just being a complete downer about experiences?
No,
I just don't give anybody a good feeling, huh?
We don't want to set people up. You know, you don't want to give them the Disney story.
I want you to realize what you're walking into, but then the outcome is usually worth it. Like all things aside, it is only a couple of seconds. And I do not approve of, and I don't think it's a good idea. I'm going to sound so bad, but I don't care. Like looking on Facebook groups, and you see people that have like, and I'm sure they have the money for it and it's all great, but you've got like 40 photo ops that you've done, and the amount of money, and then hearing people talking about that their credit cards are screaming afterwards, but it was so worth it. And I'm like, no. No, that's not worth it. So I think
what's even worse is some of those people are people that are going to many conventions a year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so that can't be people that are earning that money. That's money coming from either parents or husbands, or somebody else has to be paying for this because they can't work enough hours to pay for that.
Here's the things I've learned, like con tips. Like, I think if you really want to get an autograph from Jared and Jensen, then yes, you're going to have to get a silver pass, right? But once you get that, if you can get, because we got copper seats for this convention, and the seats were really good. We were 5 rows back off to the side from the stage.
I wouldn't count on that everywhere.
I know.
Because I think it's just the layout in the hotel.
I know. No, but what I'm saying is, like, once you've gotten that one thing, you really don't have to keep doing that again. Because once you're in the panel, or you're in the theater and you're listening, you don't really have to worry about being that close, because at the end of the day, somebody somewhere is videotaping it too. And
or
so
Crowley
really
comes walking right up to you in the very back. You know, people in the back got a better experience than the people in the front sometimes.
Yeah, and even like with the photo ops, I feel like now, of course, like I was so like, oh my gosh, I hope I can get, a picture with Jensen once Jared couldn't make it. And so Ted was really great because he like stayed in line with me at the photo op exchange. That was a thing.
Oh, yeah,
we had to do that twice.
Can we quickly jump to that?
You can quickly jump to that. Go ahead.
Okay. So once we found out that Jensen was riding solo on this, even though we already had the package to get the photo op with both Jared and Jensen, because Jensen's not going to be there.
He likes to call him Padalecki. It's easier for him to say Padalecki.
Because since Padalecki's not going to be there, you would think that they would honor the ticket, like, and say, okay, well, they're not going to both be there, so you can still have a picture with just the one person, and we'll give you a credit back for not getting both of them at once. But that's not how they did it. Pretty much, they just said, you got to get in line. First off, the first line is to get in line to get your voucher for the full value. Then
that's a totally separate area before you even go for the photo op exchange. I had to do that.
Much
first.
Different area. Yeah. So then after you get your voucher, then you have to get back into another line.
Mm-hmm. That was the photo op
to purchase the ticket for that person that you were already going to see. And now you have to get in line with everybody else trying to buy tickets real quick. Instead of having them bought months in advance and taking it nice and easy, now you got to scramble. Well, we get to the front of the line and no more tickets for Jensen. Yeah. So now, even though Sandra had already purchased the ticket to see both of them way in advance, now we have no ticket. They said, well, we hold off on some of the tickets. If you come back tomorrow, you can try again tomorrow. Like, well, we got no choice, so we got to do that.
So I'd gotten the Jensen and Misha because that one was available. And then they said with solo Jensens might be available tomorrow if you get up. And so Ted was like, well, what time? And she was like, well, 8:30. So I'm like, I guess we're getting up early on Saturday.
Oh.
So we get down there. We're not too far back in the line, but then start noticing that people are coming up to people ahead of us in line and just, I got cash here. Can you get a ticket for me? Oh, yeah. I'll get a ticket for you. Okay. And how many people are doing that in front of us?
Oh no, that breaks every rule of queuing.
Exactly.
You get your ass to the back of the fucking line.
I wanted to scream at this
no.
woman when she went to the people that were directly in front of us. And her excuse was she's a vendor or something like that.
Mhm.
So she can't get in the line. So she just was giving cash to somebody in front of us. I wanted to scream at her. It's like, that's cutting. That's still cutting in line.
Yeah.
If
No, we'll have less. No. That is the point at which me, a Brit and a card carrying person who could queue, would have just leaned over and gone, if you buy a ticket for her, I'm gonna punch you. Just so you know. It's fine. As I was very, very eloquently told today, apparently I blackmail people. I don't. But I would have just been like, you can buy her that ticket, and then I'm going to punch you in the face. You make the decision. Just so you know, that's what's going to happen. Because we're not doing that here. No, I didn't get up at 8:00 in the fucking morning to come and stand in this queue for you to fucking purchase my ticket. Get to the back of the line. No, we were fucking less of that.
I'm surprised that didn't come out of your mouth. I was like,
Because
you're
at
so
that
much
point-
of a pacifist, and just like,
Because
it's
at that
gonna
point I
hit
was
So
like-
soft though. I couldn't see you doing any of that, Sandra. I couldn't see you being like,
I wouldn't have. I would have complained about it after, and would have been like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I can't do anything about it. So
you would have sent me up there to beat somebody up for a ticket.
We were lucky, like I was able to get a Jensen one. I was like, okay, thank God. But then they had to hold some photos back and do it again on Sunday for people. So at least they did do that. I was worried they were going to just sell them all until they were done and not give people on Saturday a chance or people on Sunday a chance, because not everybody goes for the whole weekend. So they did do that, but there just wasn't enough. Carly, there were probably 500 or more photos just of Jensen on Sunday. So you equate that happened on Sunday, and it probably happened on Saturday too.
Mm-hmm. No, I do, because I remember telling you, it's like I saw that screen flashing that the Jensen photos. I was like, honey, you gotta get your.
I said, no, I gotta wait. My number's 401.
God. I tell you, the Ackles kids are gonna grow up and go to fucking Harvard or something, and people are gonna be like, oh, so what does your dad do? And they're gonna be like, yeah, he's an actor, but he paid for college with his fucking face.
So many people that do that. Like there were so many Jensen ops and like Jensen and Misha and like the group ops that people are doing, like so many. I tallied up one person that I had like, it was $4,000 that they probably spent just on photos. You
still got to pay for the event itself.
You still had to pay for tickets, and that person probably had gold. So that was what, $1,300 for one gold ticket, I think.
What?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And at the end of the convention, they came on the PA after they auction off all of the posters and stuff that's up for the convention.
The posters. Tell them about the poster.
Oh my God. Well, we'll go back there in a second. So, and of course, I'm already losing my train of thought here. So they came over. The announcer said that, if you already have gold tickets for this year, you can go ahead and buy that seat again for next year. So it's not just a gold seat, but it's a gold seat exactly where you're at. And so the people that are sitting dead center in the front have spent enough money that they have enough money they can afford to keep buying that ticket over and over.
Yeah. But then the auctioning stuff.
Yeah. So like all these posters, like really large posters that some are just the backdrop for the whole thing where you see baby. Yeah, that's a poster that somebody that goes up for auction.
Shit, really? I thought they carried the same one around.
No,
they take a different one to every. Jesus Christ, people are starving in Africa creation.
When the different actors are doing their onstage, Q&A, when they're done, you'll see them sometimes come back out and start just walking down the wall, just autographing all these posters. And so that's just another moneymaker for creation.
So you're thinking about the banners that are down on the sides, right across from so I don't know if the one in the middle, I don't know if that one gets sold. So the one that's like the backdrop, that they might reuse that, but they have the banners that are like on the opposite side.
No, they did auction off the baby.
They did?
I remember watching the one when we were down.
I wasn't there,
in the
I don't think, for that.
or wherever it was we went.
Okay.
And the bidding just kept going higher and higher, and you were like,
well, there
my
was
God.
I remember there was a baby one, but it was not the backdrop one. There was a
Okay.
baby one that was separate that went for like what, $2,000. It was just a banner of baby.
Yeah, just a banner of a car.
And it went for $2,000 in Charlotte. And
Of course, I can't believe I just called baby a car.
Yeah.
Baby is an
I
actual.
mean, she's not. She's not just a car, but it's not fucking baby, is it? It's a picture of her. Like, come on now, people, please. We can all Google a '67 Chevy Impala. You stop that right now. Fucking hell.
so it's so creation knows what cash cow they have, and they're not going to let that go anytime soon. So they're going
Yeah.
to try to milk that as much as they can. So it's a lot of money.
People
that
putting
people are willing
creations
to
fucking
spend.
kids through college.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So
Creation might as well think of them as the Russian oligarchs.
oligarchs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Creation is an oligarch.
Yeah.
I went to, like I said, I used to go to a lot of concerts and stuff, and we would hang out like for hours before the gig, because usually like you'd see the band come off the bus and stuff, and they're like going around and doing whatever they do before gigs, and so you can catch them in between like sound check and be like, hey, can you like autograph my ticket, or like you take a CD or stuff, you know. And I've got like a lot of autographed concert tickets,
Mhm.
and I've like collect stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I can't like 40 photos of the same human being.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
got a nice face, right? But we've all seen it. I can't like, and it's so fucking expensive as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what could, first of all, who could possibly think of 40 different poses to do for a start off? The people that do that are those creepy ones that do that. Oh, look into my eyes. Ew, ugh, laugh. No. First of all, but then I'm like, but what do you fucking do with them? You'd be like,
Yeah.
this is Jensen on day 1, and this is Jensen on day 2, and this is Jensen on day 3, and then this is the next convention. This is Jensen on day 1, and then Jensen on day 2. Like that's fucking insane to
If
me.
they put some thought into it, they could actually create a story with these photos.
I'm sure. I guarantee you, some people have, because there are people that have. If you have 4 or 5, like say you have 4 or 5 tickets, like for Jensen, right? You can. I think what they suggest you do is that you take them all at the same time, so you don't have to go back in line. So you could literally do probably one of those little flip books, like, you know, if you really knew what you were doing, and that's, but you're going to spend $1,000 to make yourself a little flip book, you know, with Jensen. And I don't know.
No, it's not for me. I like I have memorabilia, but it has to be something that means something. If you get 40 fucking photos in a weekend, they don't mean anything. That's just, honestly, that's like stalking someone but paying money to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's border. You ever think they see someone come into the photo op and they're like, fucking again?
Oh, I guarantee
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I swear to God, y'all need to come. They need to do one of these conventions in the UK, because I'm going to get you guys to come over and I'll be like, right, this is how it's fucking done, right? We'll have none of this queuing in loops bullshit, right? We'll have none of that. We'll have none of people shouting out during the sad episodes, because we'll just tell them to shut up. We'll have fucking none of this. Ugh. Gross.
Yeah, I don't know if Creation would be able to. Have they ever had any Creation ones over there? I don't think they have, right?
No.
But they've
Yeah.
done stuff overseas.
They have, but it's been different. It's been different, like companies.
Yeah.
It hasn't been Creation. Creation is here, and they suck.
Mhm.
They suck. I know they do like I think a jib one in Rome.
Yeah.
And
That's for Rome.
what do they have in? Was it Birmingham that they'd had one?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you off the
Like
top
who
of
it
my head
was.
who it
Yeah.
was. It'll probably be one of the, because we do have like gaming conventions over here, so it'll probably be someone who runs like those kind of cons, you know, that's used to it. But off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, because we had one recently, and I think it was like Jim and Mark came, and I think maybe DJ came, and the guy who played Gadriel came as well. But yeah, that was it. And I was like,
DJ was great in Charlotte. He wasn't at New Jersey, Garth. He was really great on stage. So some are very,
I think he had the best stage presence out of anybody.
Yeah, some are really, really fun. at the panels and stuff. But the ladies were really fun together.
Yes.
Brianna and Kim, and then the four, Brianna, Kim, Ruth, and Samantha Smith, were on stage.
But it was funny to hear them when it's just the two of them up there, and they were saying, well, when we first started doing the convention, they had to do a disclaimer to warn people, that these ladies are going to have some foul language, and if you got kids, and maybe not want to have them around. Well, apparently they opened the floodgates, because they were saying it's now everybody cusses, because we started it, and my God, they cuss so much.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
It's so natural when they cuss.
So all the complaining aside, we're doing this again, right? Yeah. We're going to go to
never going to this hotel again.
Yeah, we're not going to
not doing this one.
No. But we've got DC, which again was because I thought the world was falling apart, and I'm like, I'm just going to.
She's just buying them up all over the place.
Right, look, we could all be dead next year.
Maybe I'll get to this one. Maybe I'll get to this one, and they were a part of all those conversations when I was like, I'm just going to try. Maybe this one won't be able to go to it.
It's because they kept getting cancelled as well. They kept getting pushed back from COVID. Yeah. So she'd just come into the group and be like, my so-and-so card's been cancelled. I have to rebook. I'm never going to get to meet them.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that from her.
I would take this one as a warning, Sandra, because, the universe is so clearly on Team Carly that you're not allowed to be in touching distance of Jared, that it tried to kill him this time. So if you go through with DC and he dies, I will still fucking murder you.
No, that's not going to happen. It's going to be fine. I'm going to make a cutout or a little insert Carly Karma here. I'm serious. I'm going to make a little sign.
I think you need to cut that out of our podcast. You don't need that. That's bringing on bad mojo.
Well, the name is Carly Karma, so we're going to hope that it's good karma, right? So we're going to hope it all circles back around again.
It's ambiguous karma. It's not good or bad. Like, I don't specify if it's good or bad karma. It's ambiguous karma.
I already told you I was going to leave space for Carly or I was going to stick Ted in between us so that you would not have to worry about it. I would not get a. Of course, I can't be responsible if he just decides to like hug everybody either. Like, I feel like that's not my. That's not my fault. Then you
raise your hands up and you go, my brain will kill me. Please don't. Because if I see photographic evidence of you touching him, it's going to be like, shit's going to be awkward. Like, I'm going to be crying and stuff while I murder you. And I'm going to be like, it didn't have to be like this.
Can Ted hug him? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
What if I leap into his arms because he's so tall? He just hold me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so Ted can. Okay, so Ted can vicariously hug Jared for you, right?
Yeah. That could be you can hug him too, Sandra. It's just it's gonna be fucking real awkward afterwards. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you want, like, send us like a little keepsake. And so, like, when I leap into Jared's arms, I'll hold up your keepsake in the photo.
Oh, you're good people. You're good people. I love that. Sandra's been so thoroughly warned. She's like, I won't do the thing. And I'm like, yeah, I know you won't. Because you don't know if I'm crazy enough to turn up. That's the worrying thing. I might. I could just be like, hey, Sandra, I'm on a holiday. Y'all want to meet up somewhere? Like, my flight's stopping in New York, so I figured I'd just pop down. It's only like fucking 10 hours away. I don't know how far away it is. But
I'm gonna make an insert Carly Karma little sign just in case for that, because we have a J2M one that I got a while back, so there's that. Yeah, so we'll do that.
There we go then.
I like making little posters, so it'll be fine. We'll do insert Carly Karma here.
Yeah,
and then I'd love for him to, like, maybe I could get him to sign that after.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Yeah,
that would be cute. He's still on the side where I sit in the living room. He's off to one side with his little autograph. I told everybody as well. I was like, I own paper that Jared Padalecki has touched, and about 3 people knew what that meant, and they were like, "That's fucking cool," and I was like, "I know, right?" And everyone else loved that
interaction with Jared back in Charlotte with the whole, like, he'd thrown the marker and it almost hit us. Remember when we were in line for his autograph?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you talked to him about it and you actually like had a little mini conversation with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot.
You forgot. He forgot all about
Again,
it.
that's why I need photos.
He was very excited at the time though. He was like, hey, I got to talk to Jared, because we could not get much out of Jensen during the autograph. And again, if you're not somebody that, just starts up a conversation, it's just not gonna like happen, it just won't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have Ted with me too, to like, strike up conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need these people that aren't like starstruck to be like, hi. Yeah. I would count on my other half to do that.
So what I think I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to let my hubby exit, because it's getting late. He's got to get ready. You got to say goodbye. He's already taken off his
he's like, I got my cookies, y'all. I'm leaving.
I know, I've been eyeing them up.
Cookies. He has.
See, there's still 3 cookies sitting here. I didn't eat a single one.
So what would you like to say in closing?
Well, it was very nice to chat with you, Carly. And
it was good to chat with you too. Come back.
I think I will.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Yay, we converted somebody else.
Yay.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate it.
I can't even say that word.
Indoctrinated?
Yeah, that's
that big long word.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
I'm getting kind of tired.
It is what it is. But we will let you go if you've got to get up and go and do the thing tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming on. It was really, really great talking to you. Please come back again.
I think I will.
Regale us some more. Yeah.
So that's my hubby. That's my hubby.
He's awesome. Bring him
this
back.
Is me. I will. I was like, he was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm like, you'll be fine.
You'll figure it out. Yeah. But just break the ice a little bit, and then, oh, no, that was good.
So do you want to hear about the meet and greet as much as I could tell you?
Yeah. Tell me as much. Yeah. So for people listening, Sandra's had to sign all kinds of legal things, and she's very, very limited in what she can say and what she can tell us, because according to my husband, that's fucking bullshit. You got to sign like NDAs to talk to Jensen. You have to agree not to tell anybody anything that's discussed. And as I was trying to explain to my husband, I was like, yeah, but like if word gets out, he's going to tell them like maybe stuff about the boys, or, you know, what his next project's going to be. And word gets out and, it's all ruined. And he's like, that's fucking stupid.
From what I've heard, I think this is just a recent thing that they started with Jensen. I don't know if they do it with Jared too, though. Honestly, I don't know. I mean,
they have to do it with Jared, because whatever it is he's meant to not tell people, he will definitely tell people.
But the problem I think before was that it was just basically like they would tell you these things and it was like understood that you shouldn't do it. And then I think what happens is people start saying stuff and stuff gets leaked out. So I think the actual signing of stuff has maybe only happened within the past year or something like that. I don't think it's been a thing, at least not for... I didn't have to sign anything for Jim, but I got the same sort of spiel in the beginning from the person from creation. But when they sit you down for the Jensen one, they go through the same thing, but they're also like, okay, you've got to do this. So heading into the meet and greet. So, I knew where I was going. I knew the room number or whatever. So I got myself there. I was waiting in line, and the lady who was checking us in, you had to show your ID because your ID had to match the name that had won the spot for the meet and greet. For Jensen, it was 20 people. Mm-hmm. For everybody else, like Jensen, Jared, I think, and Misha were 20 people. Everybody else was 10. So the meet and greet with Jim was actually, it was funny. It was in almost like a little boardroom. So we were around this big long table, and he was at like the far end, like sat like, he was getting ready to like start the meeting or whatever. But that was it was a lot more, I guess it was more intimate. Just the way it was laid out, even though it had more of like a formal feel. But yeah, we were told you had to leave all your stuff on the table. Don't worry, I'll watch it. Okay. So leave our stuff outside. Don't worry, somebody will be there watching it. Sign an NDA. When you go into the room, sign the NDA, bring it back to me. And then you'll get to pick out a number, and that'll be your seat number after you hand in your NDA or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I had to take my watch off because you couldn't have anything electronic you had to get rid of. And
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So I was also like, I had written in a little book, and I was like, well, what if I was going to take my book, but I'm like, but they might say I can't take my book. So I left my book because I had all these like questions, like in my head, like if I do get a chance to ask, what would I ask? And, but I ended up just leaving it. I'm like, I have some in my head. I said, and I probably, almost everybody. Okay. So when they sit you down. So, okay. I pulled, right. Do you want to guess what number I pulled between 1 and 20? Just take a guess. What number I pulled? No. 13.
19.
13.
13. Oh.
So I was like, oh, this is probably not a good number. And then I went, and it's almost like half moon shape. They've got one curved row and then another curved row, and then they've got a seat in the front. So the stool in the front is where Jensen would sit, and then you've got the two seats. So there's one row that would of course be closer, and then to be the one in the back. So I'm thinking, okay, I probably got it. I'm probably going to be in the back row. So I go in and I start looking at the numbers, and I'm like, oh, I'm not in the back row. And then I start going around, I'm like, oh, I'm like right off to the side of like, so I was maybe 5 or 6 feet like away from him for like about 30 minutes. So it, I will say, like, as we were waiting, the ladies were, a couple of ladies next to me were like, I've been okay all day. And now I'm getting really nervous and my glasses are fogging up, and like everybody's glasses are fogging up. And they were talking, people were talking or whatever. And then we're like, we get the whole, don't do this, don't do that. You can't talk about this. Jensen really appreciates, this time and wants to be able to like speak openly or whatever. So, whatever you talk about or whatever he talks about, please don't discuss outside of that. So,
I'm
gonna
hazard a guess. Like maybe you can't tell me, but I'm gonna guess there are certain things that are off limits, like probably asking about anything that might have happened on the Rust set might have been off limits.
So maybe they didn't say not to talk about that. They didn't give us any topics. They just said to kind of use your best judgment as to what to ask. Right. But there wasn't anything like he definitely won't talk about this and he definitely won't talk about that. So there wasn't that. And I will say no one asked anything really stupid or that I felt kind of crossed the line. I was kind of wondering if that was going to get weird, but that didn't happen. And so we're all waiting. So the pictures from Saturday, I think the shirt looks red, right? That he's in the pictures.
But I've seen in other pictures, and it's more of like a pinky, red kind of color.
It was like pink. He was rocking the pink, and
y'all were matching.
I know. I was like, why didn't I? First of all, I was like, I'm glad I didn't look, because I literally didn't look at any pictures that were coming in, because I wanted to be surprised when I saw him, and I'm like, I'm sure he's gonna look great. So let me just be surprised when I see him in person. And he had on the pink open shirt. He had on it was a Henley, right? Like it looked like a Henley underneath, like a white Henley, or at least the top looked like a Henley. He wore that. He wore really nice jeans, boots, and color wise, I pretty much matched. And I was like, oh God, I hope he doesn't. When I thought about it after, I'm like, I hope he's not looking at me going, oh, she's wearing the same. Did she see what I was wearing? I thought about that after. I'm like, oh, that could be very stalkery, but no, it was, I will say, having that 30 minutes of just being able to look at him. And I was trying hard, to look at him, but not just stare at him, every single second of every moment, because I was like, I know everybody, it felt wrong. But he was, oh man. And I know you watched the video that I took right after. He was stunning. He was stunning when he walked in. He was really sweet. He was very nice. He was I would, if I'm able and I save money, I would do the meet and greet again before I would even worry about doing any more ops. Do you know what I mean? Like I would do that because in my mind, just the value of it is worth more than the split second you get with somebody in a photo kind of thing.
I think based on everything you told me from Charlotte and from New Jersey, I think like if I were able to do, like, let's suspend reality for a second and say that I've imaginarily come over to the USA where you guys get fucking comms because we don't get them over here. Right. I think I'd have to do one where I'd have to do like photo op and autograph and stuff like that. But then I think after that, I'd probably put my money into like meet and greets and stuff because I think you're gonna get the most authentic experience there, especially for like Jensen, who's got like NDAs and stuff. He has to watch what he says on stage, and you know it's very public. It's always recorded and stuff. And I think a more private setting like that, you're gonna get a more authentic version of Jensen. Which I think I'd be down with, and ditto for like Jared. Anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so
it was there's something. So the one thing that they did say, like in the beginning, was that, you know, he probably won't get to everybody if you have a question. So you kind of had to be prepared for the fact that if you know, you could just, and I was actually of the mindset, like, you know, if I just sit there for 30 minutes and I'm just in the space, I was okay with that because I didn't think I was gonna. I didn't think I was going to actually have the nerve to even ask him a question. Like I ended up.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank goodness I had Jim's like before Jensen's because that kind of got me used to that whole thing. Because even like around anybody that you've admired or that you really enjoy watching or that, you know, is a part of something, you get, you know, I get starstruck. And Jim Beaver was super sweet. He let me, he did selfies with us at the end, which was really nice. I did the god awful selfie, I think, that I showed you. And I even told him, I said, I'm horrible at selfies. And he was just like, oh, it'll be fine. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, no, it's cute. It's,
you know,
cute.
So I did that with him and was able to ask him a question. And it was actually the second to last question that I was able to ask Jim because I was like, just try it. Just raise your hand. I think I'm the only one that like raised my hand too. It's like, at least for Jim, I think for Jensen, everybody like raised. Like you just knew you have to raise your hand and hope that he picked you, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I did the Jensen one, I was like, okay, I'm like, I've got a really nice seat. I'm just going to try to like take in what's happening and just enjoy the moment of it and not try to put too much pressure on myself. And then one question had happened. I'm like, well, that question would actually lead into a question I had thought of. So I kind of raised my hand once, kind of semi-raised it and didn't, you know, he didn't pick me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try again. I tried again. He's like, yeah, you. And I'm like,
yeah. Oh, fuck. I've forgotten every word I ever knew. Jesus Christ.
So I did. I managed to say, I'm like, okay, it's okay. He can't see your face. He can't see how red you are. Just, you know, just ask the question and get it out as nonchalantly as you can. And, you know, was able to do it. And he answered, and it wasn't I didn't pick something that, you know, was going to need a really long thought out answer, but he had a fun little bit, you know, of information that I don't think, you know, he shared with other people yet. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. So
are you allowed to tell us the question? I know you can't tell us the answer, but are you allowed to tell us the
I can
question?
Say it was about the boys.
Okay. Well, for the sake of your legal protection, we will leave it there.
Yeah.
You just know if you told us, like, it would get back somehow. So
this is the only time this podcast would get any sort of recognition.
We'd be famous as fuck. We would be famous. We'd be like, yeah, that's that podcast that broke Jensen's NDA. No, let's not do that. Let's be respectful of both Jensen and of course yourself.
And like Jim too. Like, you know, there's just, and I think as out of anything, that's something that I do take. I just take that stuff. That's important to me. If somebody gives you trust, even if it's on paper, you know, you don't break that. You know, and I knew going in that was going to happen. So I was like, but I will say the experience, those 30 minutes were just, it was It was so much fun. It was so much fun, Carly. It was so much fun. So yeah, if I can do it again, I would do it again. But it was really expensive. He went for a lot of money.
That's the thing.
Yeah. But again, like that to me was better than why am I going to try to get 5 or 6 ops that cost like $300 or $400 each? You know what I mean? Like because I don't know. Do you feel this way? Like I feel people, and I know there's some people genuinely do it because they just want to have like a memento, and I get that. But I almost feel like some people do these ops or put these like things together so that they want the fame. They want people to talk about.
It's a status thing.
You know, like this look at what they did in the picture with so and so, or look at what they did. And I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole parasocial thing. And I mean, you already have to have a certain amount of understanding that they're not going to remember you in the same way that you remember them. If they're dealing with 500 people, you are just a blur, you know, to them. And, you know, even my question, like, you know, my question is not going to be something that he remembered. I'll remember that, you know, and I'll remember the experience a lot more than he will. But it is weird. Like I think the people that go there convention after convention after convention, they do know those people, you know, and even if it's just by sight, you know, they've said that like they recognize them. And I don't know if it's necessarily in a good way or a bad way. I hope some people it will be a good way. And I think some people it's not in the best way. Gosh, I sound so horrible, but it's like you see how people are and how much they covet an actual person. And it's like, but that, you know, they're people with lives, and you know, enjoy what you're able to experience, but don't blow it out of proportion. I will say I know you were probably upset because he has cut his hair and it's gotten a lot shorter, but I did feel like I was closer to Dean because of the hair being shorter. You know, that was kind of nice.
It's a good look. It's a good look. He's rocking it. I noticed when I went back to look at your pictures to see what you guys were talking about. Misha thinks there's something. Oh, fucking people are, Jesus Christ. Good Lord. I mean, Misha's giving side eye, but I don't know if that's just what Misha's face looks like.
I think that's just Misha's face a lot. Like, I think he just side eyes a lot. Or, so the one thing and this is the thing that kind of like bugged me too, was in Charlotte, they asked us what poses we wanted, right? We didn't get that in New Jersey. Even other people like, oh, I got asked. I'm like, well, that's great for you. I'm like, we didn't get asked. We just got rushed through. So I'm like, I asked, you know, in the Facebook group, I said, look, what does a shy person have to do? Like, do I have to talk to the person at the front of the queue, or do I have to ask Jensen? Because if I have to ask Jensen, then I'll just have to ask Jensen really quick and be prepared to do that. But I kind of like didn't want to, again, my whole thing is, oh, I don't want to make a fuss. Oh, I don't want to ask, you know, I don't want to ask too much of somebody. And I'm like, well, okay. So they were like, well, no, it's like, the girl at the front should ask you. If not, ask her, and then, or ask Jensen. And somebody said, you know, why ask Jensen? And he was able to, you know, do something really quick. So, because I would just kind of like, I mean, like I was totally happy with the fact that he even touched me. I was shocked about, because when I started seeing pictures where he was holding hands and doing things like that, I'm like, I didn't think they were going to do that. Like I thought they were just going to be close to you. So when it was Jensen, because I was like, Ted, it's just Jensen time. It's just me and Jensen time. I'm like, so you're not going to get the picture with me and Jensen. And he's like, okay. I'm like, but you get Ruth. And he's like, okay, that's a fair trade. I was like, okay.
You are not allowed to get in on this Jensen picture.
Yeah, no, however, not on this one. So
you can stand with Ruth.
Yeah. So I like it happened really fast. And like I went up to him, and I was like, hi. And he was like, hi. And then he just kind of like, he swooped in and like, you know, hand on my shoulder. And I don't remember anything. Like I don't remember. Oh, so the meet and greet part though, I can't tell you what he smelled like when I did the photo op with him. Literally like nothing worked. No senses were working for like those 5 seconds, or not even 5 seconds.
Yeah. Adrenaline dump.
Yeah. But when he walked in, it did start smelling different. And I was wondering, is that the females that it's are the females reacting and our pheromones are all throwing off this
things.
scent? Because it did start to smell different. And I was like, it doesn't smell like a cologne. But yeah, it was different. There was a different smell. So I don't know, but it was fun.
That would be an interesting scientific study, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like when he comes in, does like what happens to a female's body, like and like you could do one of those like perspiration like sticks or something, and like have somebody like
that would be for
somebody
science.
Should study that. Somebody should study that.
I volunteer as tribute. I volunteer as tribute. Yeah, absolutely. That's honestly, it sounds so cool though. It like. I know you guys have been like, and this was bad, and that was bad, and this was stressful. But like overall, it does sound like a very cool experience. And I'm, as your friend, very happy that you got to do that, and also insanely fucking jealous. Jesus Christ. I'm really envious, but overall, my envy does not outweigh my genuine delight that you guys had such a good time, and you got to get that Jensen photo without the plexi, like goodness, and the meet and greet and everything. And we tulpered in Jensen singing for you guys, which I definitely need to go. How many songs did he sing?
He only did the one, and then he came back at the end with everybody when they did Let Love Rule. So he sang a little bit with that. He sang with Brianna at one of the mics. So you definitely want to watch that part at the end. So yeah, I would say he did and I really like this song because the Son of a Bitch song that he does, because it reminds me of Dean, because it's like a total Dean song. Like when he sings it, it's just like he's channeling Dean. It's like there's no Jensen in that. It's just all full on Dean. So when it started, I got so excited, and Ted was like, honey, when he said son of a bitch for the first time in the song, you literally jumped in your
that's so cool.
So yeah,
that's something I totally identify with.
When you see that part and he does son of a bitch, just know that I was with that, because it was just like Dean was on stage singing, and it was really fun.
That's so cool.
Really
I did when I went back to look at the photos. He has one solitary flippy over his forehead in your photo.
He does.
Just
he was rocking a little flippy. Yeah, he was.
Just one.
And I think there's tongue, but I couldn't. I think there's tongue behind there. In the
I looked, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say yes, it was. And that's not a stretch, because he's well known for doing that thing with his tongue when he smiles. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you have that one as well.
Yay! I get to have that one too. So it was fun. It was fun. But I'm glad I got to give the whole dump of the events with you. I mean, there's more stuff, but again, there was just, those were really the highlights and the lowlights, in terms of how it ran, and how you just have to you have to be really, you have to be okay with a lot of people. And usually I'm not, so you just kind of have to push through that too. And that there's going to be some chaos and stuff. But it worked out. It worked out, and it was fun. It was fun.
I think for me, I like the idea of it, but then I think all the panels and stuff end up going online, and that's a much better experience because the audio is better. Because I've been to enough live concerts and stuff to know that no matter how loud they turn the mic up, the crowd is louder. So it's better to get hold of a video that's been audio balanced and stuff to the best of the ability, and then it's photo ops. I'm it would be nice to have a photo with Jared, but also I've seen his face, and knowing from your experience that actually it's super fucking quick and you don't get a chance to say anything about anything, and I'm just kind of and there's just something that just sits funny with me about paying for someone's time. I don't know. It just sits funny with me. Maybe it's because of my experience with meeting quote unquote famous people has always been quite organic. As I say, going to concerts and stuff, and you bump into the band and you're hey, I'm a huge fan, would you sign my ticket or whatever? Or you I've never waited outside after a show, but I have queued up really early because, like I
Right.
said, you catch them going to sound check and stuff like that, or like a lot of bands will go like into the city that they're performing, and you just like catch them going or coming back and stuff.
Right.
But it's always been really organic.
Yeah. This is
I
totally
just think,
transactional. That's how you have to look at it. It's a totally transactional experience. It's not just going to happen just to happen. It's happening because, you know, they're getting paid to appear. You're paying for the ticket. You know, so I think it's going into it with that and being okay with it, you know.
Yeah. See, like, I don't judge anybody that does that. Like, I'm really glad you had such a great time, but I don't know how I would feel after that. You know, I don't know if I could look at those photos and like, I don't know how I would feel, you know, because like I have like in my sofas are kind of in like an L shape, but there's no corner bit. There's just like a space in the corner of the room. And in this space holds a multitude of things. So there's like a little bookcase there and a little side table and stuff. And it, like my guitars are there and there's a lamp and stuff. But I have a couple of years ago, my husband bought me a Supernatural script, and it's the script for like sort of the very first pilot before they were even the Winchesters.
Okay.
And it's got like the front page, it's signed in inverted commas. So it's not actually being signed by Jared, Jensen, Misha, Mark and Jim, but it's their signatures on the paper. You know, it's like been pulled from wherever.
Yeah.
But and he bought that for me, and I was really touched. And then so like that means something. And then I've got the Jared picture that you made for me. And like, yes, you paid money for this, but for me, there's like the love in that like you paid that money for me. You know, you were like, I have paid this money for this autograph, and this is going to my friend. So I'm fine with that, because that represents so much more than just the transaction.
Right.
But I don't know if I went to the cons and did the thing, how I would feel about that, because it just, you know, like we've talked about people that do like the really lovey-dovey poses, and I'm like, it would feel so fake to me that I would hate the photos.
Because it's like there's what is it, like they do like the locker pose and different things like that, and I'm like, well, you're already like, it's just more acting, you know what I mean? And it's like at that point it's like I'd rather it to be kind of genuine. So it's like I was trying to think, because I do actually like the selfie poses that they do where like they go up from above. I think those are cute, you know, those are cute pictures. The angle of it, and it's a little different than, you know, just the standing next to somebody. So it's like I would kind of, maybe if I got the nerve to ask somebody, you know, ask for like the selfie pose, and not like saying, you know, oh, I want you to look super hot, and because they already look super hot, you don't have to tell them to do anything. Just stand there next to me and take a selfie.
Stand there with your face.
And
if you could smile.
Yeah.
I think that would probably be more comfortable to me, because that would feel more organic, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's my weird hang-ups about stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
That I just,
no, I'm kind of that way too. It's like you know, it's like it's fun to get them to do like a fun pose where it's like acting something out, but like when it becomes like, I want you to look at me, you know, like Dean looks like Castiel or something, it's like, you know, that's not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and then you just like in the back of your mind, you know that Jen or Daniil is getting a call later on. It's like, do you know how many people I've had to do this dumb pose with today? And like, you know, they're laughing about it, and that makes it all the worse for me.
Yeah.
Because like for you, obviously, it's like the people that do that, obviously it's like a big moment in their life.
Right.
But like you said, you're just a blur to them. They're probably thinking about what they're going to have for lunch or what they're doing after this shit. So it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he goes and he phones his wife and he's like, hey, baby, I've done like this today, and I've done fucking 100 look into my eyes photos and so many hand holding photos. And they're just laughing about it, because what else can you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's acting.
Yeah.
So it's my hang up, you know, it's definitely my thing.
But I'm kind of like, at least when it comes to like what you're doing with someone in a photo, I feel like there's a line of respect, right? And sometimes I feel like it if you really do I don't know, like if you appreciate what the actors are doing for you and for other people, it's almost like maybe don't make them feel like they're a piece of meat when they probably already feel like a piece of meat a lot anyway. And again, like
Yeah.
how do you rationalize that? Because they kind of know what they're getting into too, like, you know, when they're doing these things. So it's kind of, and I know it's a double standard and the guys get treated differently, you know, than the females do. And sometimes I think the guys are treated in a certain way that people don't think they mind it. And, you know, I'm sure that they do. Or they've just come to the point where they block a lot of it out.
Oh, there's a
you
there's a
know,
rant there, isn't there?
yeah.
How
Yeah.
many times are Dean and Sam sexually assaulted in all
Yeah.
15 seasons of Supernatural? Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree with you there.
Yeah. So it's that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's everybody's going to have a different outlook on it, and unfortunately, like, you know, I think a lot of people just a lot of people just do it for their own little bit of fame. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine if that's what you need to make yourself feel better. But I think that, you know, at the end of the day, they're people too, and if you understand what's happening, then that's fine. And if you're good with that and you're good with what you're doing, you're good with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult.
It's a
Yeah.
strange one for sure. I just
Yeah.
think for me, like, I would just want, like, I wouldn't care about a photo or an
Mhm.
autograph or something. I'd trade all that in for just 5 minutes
Mhm.
to just 5 minutes to talk to them and just be like, you have no idea, like, how much Supernatural has influenced my life,
Mhm.
influenced my outlook, like,
Mhm.
you know, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
they give so much to the fans. I just want to be able to thank them personally,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I've realized that that's not possible to do unless you organically meet them out in the street and you can just be like, hi, I'm a huge fan. Could
Yeah.
I
To
like
do
have
that,
5 minutes of your time?
you have to go to Austin and hope.
Yeah, and then we're verging on stalker territory there. Like, I have no reason to go to Austin. It's a Republican state. It's anti everything about me. Austin's a big city, really. So you have to get really stalky. You have to like camp
Yeah.
out the brewery until
Yeah.
he shows up, and then it's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
much. So much. But yeah, seeing the fandom, and I mean, it was nice to hear Ted's take about, like, you know, how he saw it. You know,
Yeah.
and that's sweet because I didn't, you know, he actually didn't like express that to me. But he's also much more open and just kind of like likes to talk to like just people, like, you know, he just starts and he goes, and it's just a
Yeah.
very thing. And I'm like the one that's always like taking stuff in and doesn't necessarily like initiate a conversation, or if I do, it takes a lot for me to do it. So to see him really enjoy it, you know, and like, and hey, it's fun to talk about other people too, and like, oh, this person, I
Yeah.
can't believe this person did this, and I can't believe this person did that. So he had fun with all
Yeah,
the stuff
that's
that he got to talk about too. So yeah, so we're gonna wrap up for today. Again, we're gonna thank Ted for sitting in with us and talking about the convention.
yep.
And
Bring him back. We like Ted.
we're gonna bring him back. We're gonna bring him back. So
I'm gonna see if I can get my hubs on board as well.
and then we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think he's probably asleep now, so I'll catch him in the morning and be like, "Aya, you want to come and do the podcast?" Cool, good.
Yeah, it took a little talking him into. So I was like, "Oh, come on." He's like, "What am I going to talk about?" I'm like, "What aren't you going to talk about? You talk all the time." I'm like, "It'll be fine. We'll find something to talk about." But anyway, we're going to wrap up for today, and we're going to give you some options for contacting us. So if you'd like to send us an email, it's idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are idling in the letter D, Impala. And then here we go, Carla. I'm going to try to get my stuff right.
You can do the thing.
So to reach out to me, let's see. I've got on AO3, I am Drasna. On Twitter, I am Skyle Writes, SKYLEWRITES. And if you want to reach out to me on my website where I have some of my original fiction, it's at sandrakyle.com.
Yay!
Yay!
She did the thing. She did the thing. This woman makes lists for fucking everything. How do you not remember that stuff? So, if you want to reach out to me, I am, of course, the agent of chaos in all things bar this. All my shit's in line. So you want to reach out to me at AO3. I'm Carly Karma. However you think that's spelled, it probably isn't. So it's K for Kilo, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, L for Lima, E for Echo, E for Echo, and then Karma as you would spell it normally. I'm exactly the same on Twitter, Carly Karma. Same profile picture in both places as well, just in case you think, hey, I wonder if there's more than one person out there with a weird spelt name. Same profile picture, probably me. So, reach out to us on Twitter, send us an email, let us know your thoughts. Did you go to the New Jersey Con? Let us know your experience. Yes. Did you see Sandra and Ted?
Was it as awful as we
Yeah, did you experience these horrific sounding cues and things like that? Let us know if you went to the New Jersey Con and how your experience was as well. And we will see you all in the next episode. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Uh-oh.
What?
I just got a text from Dean. It just says car now.
Oh no. Busted.
Yeah, we got to get baby back in the garage before Dean has a panic attack again. I can't cope with another, somebody stole my car.
Well, thanks for coming along for the ride. It was great catching up, and hopefully we can sneak out again soon and not cause Dean to have major palpitations in the process.
Yeah, ideally not. You know how he gets. It was really great catching up, though. We hope to see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.